What's up, guys? Welcome back to Raising the Nuts. I'm here with my dad, and we are at the Philadelphia airport, and he doesn't know where we're going.
No idea.
It's going to be his 60th birthday, June 6th, very soon, and we're going to take a trip today to celebrate his birthday. Welcome to Chicago. Like I said, we're here for my dad's 60th birthday. We're going to check out a couple of Phillies versus Cubs games, explore the city a little bit, and a lot of that will hopefully be in the next episode of this vlog. I actually still have to go back to last week when I played a regular 10-10 session at Parx. The plan was to go up there and play some 10-25. When I got there, the lists were crazy long, and I couldn't get into a game for about an hour or so. Finally got into a 2-5 game. Played for about 20 minutes, made $28, and then got called for the 10-10 game. So we're going to go into some hands from that session. It has been a crazy month for us. We started the month off in Orlando for a week for a cheer competition. And then since then, I've just been playing a lot of poker at home online, playing 10 to 12 hours every day, trying to kind of make up for that lost time because I missed a week while we were in Orlando. Cam is playing softball. Nice, Cam! Andrew's playing t-ball. Go, run, Andrew! Touch home! You gotta touch home! There you go, buddy. The new cheer season just started, so a lot of things going on, getting ready for the World Series, which I will be attending in July. But for now, let's talk about some of these hands from this session. The session started out pretty great. The table was a lot of action, and there were some straddles going on. And in the first hand of note, there was a straddle under the gun, and I'm first to act with King 8 suited. And I had just watched Matt Berkey on Joe Ingram's podcast.
When John Doe's book came out in like 2016, are now opening King 8 suited under the gun because they're just discovering more about pre-flop play. And it's like that was just a hand slap no 3 years ago. So it evolves really quickly, and it's
Wait,
like
what? Wait, we're opening King 8 suited under the gun? Wait, what? How many people are in this game?
9.
What are you talking about? Wait, what? King 8 suited.
Yeah,
Did I hear that right, Burke?
Yeah.
Is this a Berkey solver? Or is this like the Hollywood Haxton solver? This is like general solvers opening King 8 suited under the gun.
Yeah. At certain stack depths and in certain dynamics, yeah.
So are we going to endorse? Do we want to officially endorse that play on the podcast?
Bro, I've been endorsing this since 2006. I don't know
You've
what
been
they're
opening
coming around
King 8
to.
suited under the gun since 2006.
You think that it's an accident that I get into these games?
Listen, they see me raise the King 8 suited 5x under the gun, they invite me back, all right?
And so I figured I'd put that information to work right away and open up to $80. Folds around to the straddle who makes the call, and we take the flop heads up. The flop comes Jack 6-2 with 2 clubs and a heart. He checks, and I go ahead and bet $80 with the backdoor flush draw and an overcard, and he pretty quickly makes the call. The turn's the 7 of hearts, so a pretty good turn card for us as I pick up the second nut flush draw. And when he checks it over to me, I decide to keep applying pressure to some of the weaker parts of his range, and I bet $250, which he pretty quickly calls again. So gonna need to improve on this river card. The river's an 8 of spades, which gives us a pair, which is a welcome sight because now we do beat some of the missed flush draws. We can beat middle pairs. And so when he checks to us, I go ahead and just check it, and I end up beating his ace deuce of hearts. So a heart would have been a very bad card for us, but we're kind of off and running here with a player who we'd end up playing a lot of pots with going forward. Hand number 2, same opponent, and as you'll see in these hands, they're mostly all against the same opponent. I open to $50 under the gun with 9-10 of spades, folds around to him in the big blind, and he makes the call. The flop comes King 7-4 rainbow with 1 spade, and he checks, and I go ahead and bet $40, sizing down a little bit here. will allow him to continue with a bunch of hands, and there are a bunch of good turn cards for us. We can turn a queen, a jack, a 9, 10, 8, 6, or a spade. So a lot of different turn cards that we can continue betting on. And he makes a pretty quick call. The turn is an offsuit 6, which brings a backdoor flush draw. And when he checks, we're going to keep betting with 10 high here, turning the gut shot, turning some equity. And it's also a card that can improve him a little bit, where he's going to want to continue with a lot of pair plus straight draw hands. So I go ahead and bet $110, and once again he makes the call. The river's an offsuit 4, which does pair the board. And when he checks, I think I still just have to go for it. He's going to hit trips some here some of the times, given he's going to have a pair plus straight draw with that hand. But he's also going to have a bunch of 6x and 7x and pocket 8s and hands like that are going to be in a really tough spot to make the call. So I go ahead and bet $280, and he pretty much snap calls me and turns over pocket 10s, which is obviously good. I show him my hand. We have some fun banter, and it kind of sets up a good dynamic for me going forward with someone that I have position on who is going to be playing lots of pot. If you haven't noticed, because I'm in Chicago here, there is no commentary here. Cam is not here to do any analysis on some poker hands. So going to try something different in this one and tell you guys about a hand that was played at the table that I actually wasn't involved in. And if you guys can post in the comments below what you think each player has and what's going to happen, I think it'd be a pretty cool idea. It involves my friend to my right here, who has gotten involved in a lot of pots, and this is going to be one that's no different. So the undergun player opens to $40. My friend calls to my right. The cutoff calls, and then the big blind puts in a 3-bet to $260. The undergun player calls, and the guy to my right says to me, "This is not a $260 hand." As he's putting $260 in the pot, he says, "I know that they don't have these cards that I have." And we're laughing to each other. He's saying this kind of under his breath to me. Nobody else can really hear him. The player in the cutoff also calls, and they take the flop 4 ways. The flop comes down 9, 7, 7 with 2 diamonds. The big blind, who 3-bet, leads for $500. The undergun player makes the call. And now to my buddy to my right, he shoves it all in there. $1,700, a little over $1,700 he shoves for, as he's kind of laughing and having a good time. The big blind folds, and now it's on the under the gun player. And this is where you guys come in. You got to decide what you think he should call with. What do you think my friend to my right here has? He's been playing probably close to about 100% of hands. They go back and forth a little bit talking. The player to my right is laughing and calling over to his wife, letting her know that he's all in, and making a lot of jokes. Seems pretty comfortable. Just give you guys those hints. So kind of interested to hear what you guys think they each have and what they should do. So let me know in the comments below, and then in the next video, which hopefully will be out very soon, I'll let you guys know what they had and what happened. Next hand, once again, my friend and I get involved. He opens to $30 in the cutoff. I 3-bet to $110 on the button with pocket 9s. And he makes the call. We go heads up to the flop, which comes King 5-2 with 2 hearts. And he checks, and I can go either way here. I didn't really want to get check raised off my hand. I felt like if I bet, I would have to continue with it. So I go ahead and just check and see what happens on the turn. The turn's an offsuit 3, and my opponent leads for $100. I think I have a very easy call here. Many hands he could be betting that are worse, and obviously can have a lot of bluffs. So I go ahead and make the call. The river is a beautiful card. We got a 9 on the river. Offsuit 9. Giving us a set, probably the nuts essentially on this board. And when our opponent checks, I have to go ahead and go for a bunch of value. This was the opponent that called me before with pocket 10s, obviously, so he knows that I'm in there mixing it up. So I go for close to a pot size bet $420, and he hems and haws for a little bit and then shows me his hand. He shows queen deuce of hearts, so he has bottom pair and had a flush draw on the flop. He said he was ready to go all in on the flop. So I might have actually missed out on some value by not bet calling flop, but take the lower variance approach, and unfortunately he does make the fold on the river. All right, last hand in the session, and it actually does not involve that guy. There's an open early position to $40 and then a call, and I call in the small blind with pocket 3s, and the big blind makes the call. So we take the flop 4 ways. Flop comes down queen 3-2 rainbow, so we flop middle set on a dry board, and the action checks around. The turn, it's another 3, so we got quads now. It's a Badoogie board though, so I wouldn't have too many hands that would be bluffing on this card on the turn. And most of my hands are going to be small protection bets. So I end up just deciding to check, and it action checks around once again. So not looking good for getting a lot of value out of these quads. But then the river is a queen, so the board is double paired. And I decided to just bet $130, trying to target those middle pocket pairs that hopefully might make a curious call. Unfortunately, the big blind wakes up with a raise to $400. Now, this is an amazing situation to be in. This is basically the dream. We have quads on a board where if somebody has a queen, they have a full house and are pretty unlikely to fold. Player has about $1,600 behind when it gets back to me, and I'm just going to go for all of it. Try to just cool with that queen. I think that's the only hand that we're probably going to get value from, so I go ahead and shove it. He thinks for a while. You can tell that he wants to fold, but ultimately he does toss in the chip to call, and I show him the bad news. I show him the quads, and we scoop a little bit of over a 4K pot. And that was the last kind of meaningful hand for the session. I got called for, I was in the must move and got called to the main game. I spent a little bit of time there, but it was getting a little bit past my bedtime. So I put in about a 5-hour session, ended up getting into the game for $3,100 and out of the game for, I don't remember how much I won. How much did I win? So yeah, into the game for $3,100, out for $5,624. So profit of $2,524 in about 5 hours. Was fun to be up at Parx as usual. Back to where I played my game all the time back in the day. There was a lot of action. There was a lot of PLO games going. So always fun to be up there. Unfortunately, they don't allow you to film in the poker room at all, so I don't have any actual hand footage. But I'm hoping to get to a bunch of other casinos where I can get the normal hand footage. But for now, this was a fun session, and happy to share some regular poker session hands with you. The plan, if I can get over to the Horseshoe Hammond during this trip, the plan is to do the Play Every Hand challenge there, and also get back into some more Play Every Hand videos in the next few weeks to kind of get the content rolling again on a regular basis for you guys. Thank you guys as always for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, it helps the channel a lot, and hit the like button on the videos as well. Cam does this way better than I do. But for now, hopefully you guys enjoy this video without any kids in it and just me, and I will talk to you guys soon.